Former President Trump is scheduled to be back on the campaign trail today after an eventful day in court yesterday. The judge fined Trump $9,000 for gag order violations in his criminal hush money trial, warning Trump that he could go to jail if he does it again. The jury also heard from several more witnesses, including Stormy Daniels' former attorney. ABC News investigative reporter Olivia Rubin joins me now, along with former federal prosecutor for New York's Southern District, Khan Nowadaye. Olivia, what stands out to you from the testimony that we heard yesterday? Because it was a lot.
It was a lot. I think people were surprised with how gripping the testimony from Keith Davidson was. Remember, he was the lawyer to both Karen McDougal and Stormy Daniels when they took their hush money deal. So while David Pecker sort of provided the overview of what that looked like, Keith Davidson took the jurors right inside that negotiating process. He talked about the final days of the Stormy Daniels negotiations and how the payment, once he had agreed to it with Michael Cohen, never happened. He talked about the excuses that were made for why the $130,000 payment was made. And he took the jurors through all of that. And I think part of what was so key was how he told the jurors why he thought that payment was delayed. He said that he thought it was because they were trying to push it after the election, which goes right into prosecutors' arguments that this was all about the election. And Diane, he also said that from his dealings with Michael Cohen, he got the sense that Michael Cohen didn't really have any authority to do what he was doing and to authorize the money, that it was all coming from Donald Trump. So whereas Trump's team might be trying to make the defense, hey, it's just Michael Cohen, Donald Trump never actually made the payment, what these witnesses are saying, from our dealings with him, it seemed like he was going back for authorization from Donald Trump, so tying him very closely.
Ken, how critical do you think it was for the jury to hear from Keith Davidson, the person on the receiving end of these payments for Karen McDougal and Stormy Daniels, and then also to see some of the videos played earlier in court of former President Trump saying, I never knew these women, after already hearing Trump's assistant testify that she stored contact information for both of them?
I think both those points, Dan, are absolutely critical. I think Keith Davidson, as Olivia said, he's laying the foundation for the prosecution of the puzzle pieces that are going to support ultimately what Michael Cohen's going to say later on in this trial. I think the prosecution is doing a very good job of setting forth these witnesses who lay out the story in great detail. And let me tell you, jurors love detail. That's what they're looking for, because that shows credibility. And by the same token, by playing Trump's statements and his denials, the jurors can see that, well, wait a second, maybe the defense isn't so credible here.
Khan, Trump is also on the campaign trail today, just a day after being fined $9,000 for gag order violations and being told by the judge he could go to jail if he does it again. So how careful does he have to be with what he says today?
I think of course he has to be careful. He has to be careful for the rest of the trial. The judge has already shown him this is his world, and it's something Trump's not used to. He's in a world, in a courtroom, where he's not in control. And now the judge has said $9,000, which granted isn't much, but he's also said, next time, maybe I'm going to put you in jail. Now, personally, I think it's going to take a lot for that to happen. And right now, the prosecution has four more allegations saying, four more statements that they believe are violations of the gag order. And the judge is going to hear argument on that, I believe, later this week or early next week. So there's another opportunity here for the judge to fine or potentially put the former president in jail for contempt. But I don't necessarily think that's going to happen.
So, Olivia, what are you watching for tomorrow as court resumes?
Well, I think Khan just hit on it, because tomorrow, they're going to open with the hearing on the gag order violations. And Judge
These are the additional four.
The additional four. So Todd Blanche likely is going to have to try to defend these additional four violations. And remember, it didn't go so well for him last time, and now Donald Trump has been held in contempt. And Judge Marchand has actually only allowed 30 minutes for those arguments. So they're going to come in at 9:30, do the gag order violation hearing, and then the jury is coming in at 10 to resume that testimony from Keith Davidson.
All right. Interesting day. Olivia Rubin, Khan Nowadaye. Thank you both.